Hi, and welcome to Release Readiness Live for Salesforce's Winter 16 edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Torres, and it's a pleasure to be back for our first session of Day 2, where we're going to be focusing on our Community Cloud. Now, if you couldn't join us yesterday, or if this is your first time watching a Release Readiness Live, thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to take deeper dives into some of the latest developments that our Community Cloud has to offer for our Winter 16 release. And since we are live in Salesforce Studios, I do have 3 members of our product management team here to handle your questions live on air. But before we get to meeting those experts, let's find out how we're going to be asking those questions. And to explain that and more, we have our own Elna Miller. Hey, Elna.
Hey, Mike. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm Elna Miller. I'm one of your community managers in the Success community. Ask your questions on Twitter or in the Release Readiness group in the Success community, located at success.salesforce.com. You can also use the social stream right on the page in front of you. And remember to use the hashtag SalesforceLive. Now, we have a policy of no question left behind, so definitely post those questions and shout-outs, and during the broadcast, we'll answer as many questions as we can, or we'll answer the rest in a few days. Back to you, Mike.
All right, thanks, Elna. Now, before we get into the main event, there are a few final pieces of logistics that we do need to cover. For instance, we've mentioned already everything that we're going to be discussing in this session is going to be particular to our Community Cloud. If you join us later today, you can catch a live stream on our Service Cloud, while we have recordings available of all of our offerings on www.salesforce.com/release readiness. You'll be able to find clips in both long form and short form there, so we've got you covered no matter what you're looking for. Now, as a last item before we get started, we're going to be discussing some very new features today, as well as taking a look at our product roadmap. So, before we do that, we need to review Salesforce's Safe Harbor slide. If you're unfamiliar with this slide, all it asks is that as we're going to be discussing our product roadmap, that we base all purchasing decisions on Salesforce based only on current functionality, which makes sense. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to hand things over to Michael Metcalf so we can get introduced.
Hi everyone, Michael Metcalf, and I work on the Communities product. So I focus primarily on customer communities. I'm Director of Product Management here at Salesforce, and look forward to talking to you about all the new features in the Winter 16 release.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm an Associate Product Manager here at Salesforce. I work on the feeds team on the Chatter platform, and today I have Chatty with me because we're all about collaboration here, and he'll be here to help me with my demo.
Hi folks, my name is Kushwan Singh. Most people call me Kush. I'm a product manager here at Salesforce, and I work on the files experience side of things. Really excited to be here to talk to you about all of the great features we have in the Winter 16 release.
Great. Let's get into it.
Great. Hi everyone. So in case you guys weren't at Dreamforce this year, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a great review of our roadmap sessions. We had packed houses throughout Dreamforce for all of our roadmap sessions. And just as a reminder, the Community Cloud is made up of 3 major product areas: the Communities product, Chatter, and Files. And they're really built around enabling collaboration, communication, and connecting people to the business processes and the files that they need to make their business work. We've seen extraordinary growth in all the products. Communities have doubled in the last year. We have twice as many active communities as we did a year ago. And I think the more impressive statistic is actually that our customers, 20% of our customers actually have more than one community. With Chatter, we have almost 250,000 organizations using Chatter, as we do with Files. And we'll be talking more about that as well. And we are seeing over 1 billion files uploaded annually. So it's a huge scale that we're talking about here. So, just as a preview, I'll kick you off with the Communities demo. We'll hand it over to Rachel. She'll take you through some of the Salesforce Classic and some of the new Salesforce Lightning Experience features. And then we'll hand it over to Kush, who's going to talk about Files as well in the new Lightning Experience. So, to get things started, let's go ahead and talk about the Communities demo. We're going to have 2 main actors today. This is a familiar organization for NTO, Northern Trail Outfitters. They're an outdoor sports retailer, and they've been our fictional customer now for over a year. Lauren Boyle is our customer, and she is a fantastic community member. She's a mountain biking enthusiast, and she'll be using one of our templates and showing you some of the new features there and our personalized experience. Finally, Eric, our community manager, and our service agent. He's also an admin. He's an amazing employee. Everyone should try to hire him, although I don't know what we do with our demos if you did. He is going to take you through our community management console, and he's also going to show you new features in our community builder. So with that, I would love to kick off and start the demo. And I'm going to switch over to my iPhone now. And what we see is, this is the view that we basically see for Lauren. Lauren is not logged in at this point. She's unauthenticated. And this is the NTO community. This is really meant to guide users towards products and towards content that's most important to NTO and that really engages their users. As we scroll down, you see the rich tiles. You'll see a brand new module. This is built by our third party called CloudCraze. It was featured products. And this is part of our e-commerce offering. Again, it's built by a third party, which means now our templates are extensible, which is something I'll be getting into more later. Finally, you'll see our leaderboard. This is our gamification platform and the reputation platform that really helps keep people engaged and helps make sure that they're excited to be participating in the community and competing with one another. And finally, you'll see trending articles and trending topics. This guides people to new content and helps them discover all the great conversations, topics, and content that are in the community. So I'd like to scroll back up to the top and show you some new features. At the very top, you'll see this gray header bar. This is actually a custom header that was created by one of my colleagues. And this is now available. It's a space in the template where you can insert a custom header. And it's really designed to help you unify multiple sites. In the case of NTO, they have a complete online store. And they've built a custom header that unifies the online store with the community. Below that, you'll see what we affectionately call the hamburger. This is our new mobile menu. And you'll see now that we have more than the 3 menu items that we classically had. We have home, topics, products, store, and blog. And what's unique about the menu is it's completely extensible. You can extend it up to 20 tabs. That might be too many for most of you, but we made sure that we had a little extra room there. And it also features sub-tab navigation for topics. It lets you link to internal pages. It also lets you link to external projects like your store, for example. And finally, a brand new module that we created as a Lightning module is the language picker. It's available in up to 18 languages, and you can easily localize your site. We'll go ahead and click on the Spanish language site, and we can buscar un artículo. We can do things in Espanol. I will not, however, be spending a lot of time in Spanish because I will not pain you with my Spanish language skills. So let's go ahead and switch over to Lauren. So Lauren is logged in, and she usually logs in with Twitter. I'm showing you the logged in experience just in the interest of time. She sees the exact same information. She sees her online community, and where she usually spends a lot of her time, because she is a mountain biking enthusiast, is in the mountain biking topic. Now, she's come here today for a very specific reason. She's come here today because she actually bought 2 new wheels at NTO, which she's thrilled about, but she's been getting flat tires. So this is not fun when you're stranded on top of a mountain and you've got a flat tire. So she's trying to find a solution to this, and she's not sure if it's the new wheels she purchased or if it's the actual tires that go on the wheels that are causing the problem. So she's here to do some investigation and talk to the community, which she's great at. One thing she sees as she scrolls down is rich feed, and this is all fantastic. We have inline images, as we always have, and best answers. It really encourages great content in the community. Again, you'll see our e-commerce module here, it's just brand new. And you'll see topic experts. Now, if she were to click through on these topic experts, we have a brand new feature now. We bring that topic expertise right onto the user profile. So if you scroll onto Hiker Geek, you'll see he's also an expert in mountain biking, Deer Creek Trails, and Yosemite. So if you have any questions about Deer Creek Trails, this is your man. Now, let's go back to topics, and let's go to the mountain biking topic. I want to show you one more new feature. So we now have subtopics that are available via API, and when you create those subtopics, they belong to the parent topic. So in the case of mountain biking, we've created the topics for wheels, brakes, chains, etc. And you can easily select those subtopics, and there's an entire stream of content there as well. Discussions and articles will appear. And this is really powerful because anytime you tag something with wheels as a subtopic, it also belongs to the parent topic of mountain bikes. So it's a really great way to guide people towards guide your users toward the content that they need. In this case, Lauren happens to have a question about wheels, so she's going to ask a question. And she was out mountain biking when she got a flat. And boy, she's not sure if it's the rims or what's going on, but she's not happy about it. And she uses a little profanity when she posts her question. You'll also notice we didn't pick up the profanity, but our entity extraction did pick up the relevant terms in her post, and she can X out of those or accept them and ask the question. These are the topics that are really designed to help guide people towards the content and make sure that her question gets answered. So as she posts her question, once it refreshes, we'll see a couple things have happened to her post. One, you'll notice that the profanity has now been obscured. It's now just turned into asterisks, which leaves a lot to the imagination. But I'll show you more about how that's set up in the Community Management Console later. And the second thing you'll see is that there's a view-related case. This is based on our rules engine, using all the goodness of the Salesforce platform to create rules that pick up certain keywords and then escalate it automatically to case. Now, these rules can be used for anything. They can escalate something to case if there's an unanswered question. They can do it based on keyword. It's completely flexible. Let's go ahead and click into that and take a look at her case. So at the very bottom, you'll see some of the details. And you'll see that everything happened in reverse chronological order. This is her post. This is the case number. And then she was even sent an email telling you that she's being handled. She's got someone looking at this already. So let's go ahead and switch back from the mobile phone back to the service agent, Eric. And let's see what he's going to do to handle this case. All right, so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out of our PowerPoint, and when I do, you'll notice something else. This is a little surprise. I'm preempting Kush a little bit. But as I push Escape, you'll notice that this is our brand new Files preview for Lightning Desktop Experience. It's fantastic, and we wanted to show it off today.
It totally rocks.
It does. It's amazing. So, and we look forward to getting it in communities, by the way, too, Kush. So let's go ahead and switch over to Eric. Eric is in the Service Console, and this is a brand new design that's really influenced by the Lightning experience. As we refresh the console, you'll notice that we have Lauren Boyle. She's been getting flat tires. This came in at 9:39 a.m. And Eric's going to go ahead and click on her case number. So as we do this, we'll notice that because Lauren logged in with her Twitter account, it's bound to this case object as well. And what this really does is it gives a 360-degree view of the customer. So when she tweets something good or something bad, that's also something they can monitor. And so not only is a service agent able to see the activity back in the community, but they're also able to see what she might be saying out there in public. It's really powerful. All the information that Lauren saw in her case feed is also reflected here for Eric in the same information. The original post, the case number with a fantastic suitcase icon, and the email that was sent to her. Now, Eric knows that he's going to respond back to her in the community, but he needs to find some information about this. So he hits up the knowledge base articles. These are articles that are available to the community, and they're really there for Eric to search, and he can easily then attach it to the case. And as soon as he clicks on that link, it basically drops in a hyperlink to the knowledge base article in the community. It also gives you the title. And he's going to go ahead and say, hey, Lauren, you're under warranty. This is great news. Please visit your local NTO for replacement wheels. And he has a choice now of posting it to the customer case, so it's private to Lauren, or he can post it to the entire community, ensuring that everyone gets to see the response. In this case, he's going to respond to her customer case. So now I'll switch back to Lauren on the mobile phone, and we'll take a look. We'll refresh the page, and we'll see if Eric's response shows up. It does. So now she sees the response. Lauren, you're under warranty. Please visit your local NTO. Oh, this is great. I mean, as a customer, this makes her feel really, really reassured that NTO has her back. And it even lets her link out and take a look at the information. And this is, again, our knowledge base article. Everything is right here. It shows you how the warranty can be exercised, et cetera. It's all beautifully formatted on the mobile phone. So let's go back. And Lauren is really a happy customer at this point because she knows she can go in and she can get her wheels replaced, and maybe that'll solve the problem of getting flat tires. But the thing is, she's a busy mom, and NTO is actually pretty far from where she lives. So she's thinking about, maybe I should just do a little more research in the community, try to solve this problem myself. It could be the tires. She's going to go into the search box, and she's going to search for tire. And what's new about this is a brand new feature in this release. We've unified all the articles and questions in our search deflection. Search deflection is really designed to help users find the information immediately so they don't ask duplicate questions, and so they are ultimately using the content that's already in the community. In this case, she's like, oh, this is great. A Moab ride is actually the kind of cycling I like to do. Let's take a look at that. And as she goes in, she sees that there's been some discussion about Continental tires. Those are actually the tires she has, and Eric has recommended those. And lo and behold, there's a related product here. This is not a coincidence. This is actually an entity extraction engine taking the entity Continental and then promoting a product based on that. This is what we call commerce in context. We're taking a contextual stream of user-generated information, and we're now able to then attach products to that and suggest them. Well, Lauren actually has a question about whether WTB thorn-proof tires exist and if anyone's heard of them. And so she asked a question as well about if anyone tried those. And if we look down here, magically, the related products has picked up the WTB item and suggested the Exawolf TCS mountain tire. This is actually the exact tire she'd heard about. She just couldn't remember the name of it. So she's going to add it to her cart. And the cart symbol changes. And she goes into her shopping cart and she says, you know, I don't ride a unicycle. I actually have 2 tires that I need, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for another one. And then she starts the checkout process. And this is great because it has all of her information stored. She's obviously got an account with NTO. And it's really powerful that she's able to quickly place her order on the phone and that she's reassured that she doesn't have to go into NTO to have her wheels looked at. She's going to try the tires first. And there's everything she has. So let's step back and look at what we've seen here. We saw NTO. They've been our fictional customer now for a year, and they got started primarily because they wanted to go in and they wanted to have an experience of having users help themselves in our customer self-service communities. And this is really to drive down costs. This is to deflect people from contacting customer service. What happens is you have 2 types of content that get created in a community. You have head content like FAQs, the articles, etc. And you have long tail content that's often created by the members themselves. And as that long tail content gets picked up in search engines and search engine optimization takes place, it drives more users to find the community. It drives new users to find the community as well. And so NTO realized there was an opportunity here not just to cut costs, but to actually generate revenue. And that's why they chose to implement the e-commerce solution from CloudCraze, which is a Lightning component that was easily downloaded and implemented. So what I'd like to do now is switch over from Lauren back to the desktop and take you to Eric, he wears many hats. Today he's going to also wear the hat of community manager. And he often spends some time in the same interface that you just saw on the mobile phone, but this is the desktop interface. He's got all sorts of new tools at his disposal. He's got a fantastic new navigation bar. You'll see it up here at the top. He has a new blog, which is also built by one of our partners at CloudCraze. There's also other partners who built blogging components like Stantive and others. So we have a lot of partners who are now starting to really embrace the platform and build components for it. He can go in here. This is a product that's really complementary to our knowledge-based product. It's much more lightweight. He can quickly create a blog post to help generate interest in the community and engagement. But where Eric really spends a lot of his time and where, frankly, we've done a lot of investment ourselves is in the community management console. So because he has permission, he can click on his profile and easily head over to the community management console. And he sees a brand new homepage experience in the community management console, or CMC. He sees our dashboard, where he can edit the dashboard. But out of the box, he has great tools like the number of logins in the last 30 days, questions, answered questions. He's fantastic. He's got more answers than questions. That's a good sign. He's got great content. People are being marked as best answers, and very few escalated to case. This is a thriving community. He's also got over 100 new Insights reports that are available to him. Insights is a new node in the community management console that's really designed for community managers to take action. Dashboards, which is the node below that, is more of a snapshot of metrics that are in the community. Insights is really about taking action. Let me show you what I mean. If you go to the Adoption tab, you'll see that these are the different members who have been active in the last 7 days. But he can also click on MVPs that have been inactive. MVPs are the lifeblood of a community. They're the ones who are creating most of the content. There are probably a few of them watching right now. And if someone's been inactive for a few days, you might want to reach out to them or ping them and just make sure they come back to the community, because ultimately they're driving a lot of the content creation, they're answering questions, and they are your stars. So we now have a report for community managers to do that easily. They can click on the profile and go right to it. We also have an engagement tab, so you can see unanswered questions, best answers, everything, and you can go straight to the discussion right here. You can, as always, you can see topics that have been recently created or used. And one of my favorite features is the fact that our third parties can also create insights themselves. So when we downloaded the package for e-commerce, they also were able to inject e-commerce as a node into insights. So you can monitor your new orders, your products that have been recently purchased, or your new customers like Valerie here. I'd like to move from insights over to the moderation. Now you saw on the post that we showed that Lauren basically, she had a little bit of a curse word in there. And maybe your community doesn't consider that a curse word, but an NTO is pretty strict. So they've set up a series of lists called criteria. And these are basically just lists of keywords that they want to monitor and take different actions on. I know that everyone wants to see the profanity keywords, but we're going to stick with negative sentiment. And so I'll show you examples of negative sentiment, as if you don't already know. But anxious, I guess that's negative. So if you're feeling anxious, NTO wants to know about it. Now, once you have your criteria set up, the next thing you do is you set up a rule. Let's take a look at the rule for replace profanity keywords. We'll edit that. It has a name. It has a description in case there's several community managers, they need to understand what the rule means. You can apply the rule to posts, to comments, or to posts and comments so that everyone is being monitored. And again, you can now move the different keyword lists back and forth to activate them. Once you've done that, you have the option of taking 3 different actions. You can block it, in which case you want to tell the user why they're being blocked, but not maybe too specific. You don't want to give them every clue why they're being blocked. You can replace it, which we did with asterisks, or you can flag it for a community manager to handle later. Once you've set up your rules, you can activate it, you hit save, and you're off and running. And you saw the results of that with Lauren. Next, I'd like to show you topics. We've done a lot to simplify article management and assigning topics to articles. So our knowledge-based articles are an incredibly powerful product, but we've gotten feedback that we need to improve how we assign topics to those articles. So here we are with a list of articles that are available. This is the same list that Eric saw in the service console. And we can easily click on the pencil, go in and add a new topic, like, let's just say MTB is a shortcut for mountain biking. Save it. And now anyone who types MTB will automatically see an article about mountain biking tires. So a great new feature, really simplifies article management. We have some new innovations on recommendations that we're still working on, but this is still a feature here. I'll talk more about this in the roadmap. As with reputation, we still have our reputation levels from Salamander to Grizzly. It's all available. And we're making some enhancements to our leaderboard, which we'll talk about shortly as well in the next section on the roadmap. What I'd like to do now is really show you that Eric is not just a community manager, he's also an admin. So he gets to play around with one of our favorite things, the community builder. And this is where we spend a lot of time building out and enhancing the capabilities in this release. So this is a community builder. This is where we create and change and edit our live community. It's a live preview, so everything you see is reflected right here in the live preview. This is all live information. For example, you can easily change the branding colors. And you see that the action buttons change. But the real power is over here in the page editor. And we've made front and center the Lightning components. So Lightning components, as a reminder, are what power all of our next generation products here at Salesforce. Each component is like a Lego building block. And you can easily drag and drop them onto the page. We've also extended the capability for third parties to start developing on this platform. And we have third parties, again, from CloudCraze to Stantive to Livefire and many more. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like to build out a new page. We go ahead and click the new page button. And you have a choice of a standard page, which is just, Lightning components, or a data detail page. This is incredibly powerful because it really lets you take advantage of all the Salesforce data that's behind the scenes. So we're going to choose a data detail page. We're going to use the account object. And then here you have a choice of basically choosing a 1 or 2 column layout. There are more layouts coming. We're going to go ahead and choose 1 column just for the sake of simplicity. We'll call it account. And we'll make that the default. Great. So we now have a new page. As it generates, it's blank. It's got the header, it's got the search box, but it doesn't have any components in it. So let's go ahead and drag over a record headline. And we start to see it build out. We've got Lucasfilm as apparently a very good account for us. We'll go ahead and take on the record information as well. We'll drag that over, the content section. And then as we scroll down, you see all the goodness that you would see in the Lightning desktop experience as well. And we will then scroll down and just for fun, probably not the best user experience, but we're going to go ahead and just for fun and put in a Livefire mosaic. Livefire is a great product. It basically allows you to pull in social content from the web in order to help really jumpstart a community that may not have a lot of content at first. And so in this case, it's hitting up Instagram, and it'll populate with some Instagram tiles based on the hashtag that is set up in the back end. All right, so we have a page. We've built a page right in front of you. We need to do one more thing. We need to edit the navigation menu so that we can actually get to the page. So we hit the edit navigation menu, and this will bring up a modal that really lets you see all the active menu items. And we're going to add a menu item to this, call it accounts. Under type, we have 4 different types of pages that you can link to. You can link to a Salesforce object, which this is, and we have 5 Salesforce objects that are available in this release to link to. Accounts, cases, events, opportunities, and contacts. And you can also link to an external URL. So in this case, you could link to the store, so you can drive users off to another one of your properties. You can also link to an internal URL or navigational topics, which is basically our topic drop-down menu. Object type, as it happens, it's account. It starts with an A, so it's the first thing, but we obviously have lots of other choices here as well. And then you can pick a list view. You can pick My Accounts, All Accounts. We'll go ahead and stick with the default, which is recent. And then this last button is for publicly available. And the question is this going to be viewable by external users who are not logged in? And the answer is no. Not going to look at our accounts if you're not logged in. We've got to know who you are. So we're going to publish the changes. And what we'll see, we're going to go to we'll go back to here. One thing I want to show you on the branding editor that I forgot to mention earlier is we also have a brand new feature in this release called custom CSS. You can now override the default template CSS. This is something that a lot of people have been requesting, so I wanted to make sure I called it out. And I had to come back to the branding editor anyway, because I can show you that our brand new tab is alive. It's here. You can see the recently viewed ones. You click on Lucasfilm, you scroll down, go into the preview mode, and voila, everything is here, including the Livefire, crazy mosaic wall. So, you know, what we've really done in this release is we've really focused on making it easy to get rolling with communities. The faster that you get moving with communities with our templates, the sooner that you're going to have the content that's bringing people in, that's either solving their own problems or helping you build out a use case for revenue generation, or solving your access issues for partner use cases or for employees. The second thing is we've really focused on making community management easier and more powerful for community managers because they ultimately are the ones nurturing a community. And finally, we've made the personalization platform much more powerful as well through user expertise and recommendations. What I'd like to do now is switch back over to our PowerPoint, and we'll go into our amazing preview mode. So let's talk a little bit about additional features. There were a few features I didn't have time to demo, but I would like to mention that we also have Files Connect capabilities now for partners and customers. And this is really great for linking to everything from Google Drive to OneDrive to SharePoint. Really powerful feature. We're able to more easily import and mass email and additional leads to a campaign, for example. So you can upload a CSV file and easily get started with that. Another moderation feature is that we can now flag, there's a flag feature in the private messages and in emails so that if you receive something from a user and it's not something you want to see, you can flag that, a moderator will look at that and get back to you. We also have topics on records so that customers can now include a record ID and a record name in the custom reports. And finally, we have an upgraded community license for employee communities. And more details about that, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. And that basically rounds it out. With that, I'd love to hand it over to Rachel.
Well, before we do that, though, I just got to say, I mean, you just shared so much for customers to get excited about.
You're right.
I mean, making it more extensible, making it easy to manage, but making it so easy to add a revenue stream in there. I have to imagine that customers are just going crazy for communities right now. Elna, what are you hearing out there?
There's definitely a lot of love out there, and we actually have Hugo from Latin America and Carol, and they're both, I'm guessing, both very excited about the language picker. And Anthony and David are joining us as well, and saying a lot of great things about what they're seeing right now. We do have some questions, which I'd like to throw your way as well. The first one is from Nicole. She's asking, can topics visibility be controlled, and how? By groups, by license, or by profile?
Topics can be completely controlled by the community manager or the admin, and you can decide whether those are exposed. You can decide how those are exposed. You can decide whether you want users to add topics or whether you want to keep that just with the community manager, which is what a lot of people do because they want to really button down the topics and make sure that they're guiding users to the content. So it's all completely configurable.
Great, that's good news. And Andre is asking, is it possible to keep using the current console layout? And I'm not sure if that refers
the community management console layout, yeah. Everything, again, is part of the upgrade process, so you will opt in to upgrade. If you want to keep the current experience, you can do so. You will, of course, not have access to all the brand new features until you do upgrade. And there is a managed package that you have to download for the insights, much like our dashboards. But you can obviously stay with the community management console that you have now, if that's what you like better.
All right, thank you. This is a question from the success community. Can you select multiple articles at once and update the topic for them?
I don't believe so in the current interface. We continue to develop that, and actually one thing I failed to mention is I would like to, after the Q&A, I will come actually back to the roadmap and just take you through 3 different things briefly. But yeah, we are actually continuing development on that. We're doing a better job unifying the knowledge base articles with our topics system. So right now in the CMC or the Community Management Console, it's not possible to do that to my knowledge. But you can certainly add more than one topic to an article at once. So definitely a use case we're aware of. Totally understand the use case.
Now, you mentioned the file previews. You briefly showed us that, just a little sneak preview of that. When are those going to be available in communities?
This is a question either Kush or I can answer, but I'll take a crack at it. We should see that in the next release. So we are really excited to see the file previews. It's a fantastic experience, and Kush will show you more about that. So stick around, but we will have that not in the winter release, but look for it in spring.
A couple more timing questions about some of the things you talked about. CMC Insights data packs. When will they be ready?
Those will be ready in about 3 weeks. So I think it's October 24th is when those will be available in the App Exchange. And it's just an easy package to download. You'll see if you do upgrade to the new experience and you upgrade to the new Community Management Console, then you will see a prompt for you to upgrade. So please do take advantage of all the actionable insights that you have available.
And for those that are looking for custom Lightning components from the App Exchange, when can they start seeing those?
That's a good question. So we have a range of partners and we have a range of dates, but generally speaking, since they don't stick to our release cycles, they can put them in whenever they want. It'll be Q4 of this year and Q1 of next year that you'll start to see those in the App Exchange from all of our partners.
All right,
we're excited about that.
Lots of when questions here, as people are excited to get going with all this new stuff. What about people who want to develop their own templates as opposed to using the standard community templates?
That's a great question, and maybe what I can do is take that as an opportunity to show you a roadmap slide. This was not canned, this was not planned, this is me forgetting about the roadmap. But let me tell you a little bit more about what we have in store.
Perfect.
And maybe it'll head off a couple of questions. We're focusing on fast creation and customization and personalized experience and, of course, empowering community managers. These are the themes that we're going to continue in 2016 because we know how important they are. For number one, this is really about a community builder and the templates themselves. We're going to be extending out the capabilities for you to create your own custom page layouts and templates. So first we'll allow our partners to build their own templates. We'll be introducing new templates ourselves for employee and partner communities. And then finally, we'll extend that out to anyone to create their own templates as well in 2016. Next Personalized experience, we know that we need rich text. It's coming. We have a preview of it right now that I didn't show you, but it's something that it is available in community templates. We're also going to work hard on audience segmentation. And what this will allow you to do is basically put a recommended piece of content in front of an audience segment. So it could be people who've lapsed, it could be your MVPs, it could be people you know are more likely to buy a product. And finally, I also mentioned file previews coming in the personalized experience. And then finally, around the community managers, we have not forgotten about you. We continue to develop enhancements to our insights product and make it more actionable. We're going to have date ranges in there. We're also going to bring Lightning dashboards into the community management console, and we're going to keep building out our capabilities with user moderation. So to answer your question, the long way, we are going to continue to open up and make more extensible our templates, the Lightning components, and all the pieces of the Community Builder in the next year.
Fantastic.
Great. So Ellen, I think any other questions we will save for the end of the session just to make sure we are giving equal amounts of love to everybody today. But Michael, thank you so very much for bringing us up to speed on why communities are an even more valuable tool for all of our customers right now. One of the principles that is at the heart of why communities are so valuable is collaboration. And we have somebody special here today to talk to us about Salesforce's latest and greatest in the world of collaboration. We've got Rachel So.
Thank you so much, Mike. So I'm here.
It's okay.
Great. So I'm here to talk to you about some key Winter 16 features for Chatter. So we have some new features, including the ability to edit and to create rich text posts in Salesforce Classic. And we've also added intelligence, like being able to have intelligent at mentions. We've also added a brand new Lightning experience for groups, profile, and the feed. And we've added some brand new email features that make email even better. So let's dive into the demo. The next slide, yes. And then, so here I'm going to show you some of these features. And in this demo, we'll have Eric Ware, the man of the hour, the man that wears so many hats. In this demo, he'll be the account manager for Northern Trail Outfitters and an admin. And here he'll collaborate with his team to work on a deal to sell tires to West Coast partners. And when he closes this deal, he'll hit his goals for this quarter. And so let's dive into the demo. So here we are at Northern Trails, and we see the classic Salesforce page for Chatter. And we're here, and Eric is looking through his Chatter feed, and he sees posts from his teammates. But what he really needs is some information from one of his colleagues. He needs information from Casey in order to close this deal. And so he's able to @mention Casey in this post, but we notice that he's able to type in rich text to emphasize his points, to kind of emphasize his goals. And so he's able to share this. But one other thing Eric notices right after he posts this is that he made a mistake. He typed some random letters in this post that are not supposed to be there. And so he's able to edit in rich text. He can go back in, he can delete that, he can highlight or underline some of these points. He can perhaps strike through one of these things that he does not need. And we have this enabled now in Salesforce Classic. And it's a great new feature. He can go in and post it. The other thing Eric is able to do new in Winter 16 is he's able to mute posts. And so here he sees a post from Erica Ware, and perhaps he finds Erica's posts a little bit irrelevant. He's able to go click and mute the post because he thinks this will get a lot of likes. I don't really want to know what people say about it. He's able to see where these muted posts are in this section under the feed. Now Eric wants to take advantage of what the new Lightning experience has to offer for his sales use case. And so with a flick of a switch, he's able to switch to Lightning experience. So he switches over like this. Some nice hot chocolate. And now we're here in the brand new Lightning experience. Now this is the Lightning home page we see here. And we have some new things Eric may not have seen before. We have some information about his quarterly performance. He sees that this quarter he's closed, he's made a lot of progress closing deals. He just needs to close a little bit more to reach his goal for the quarter. And West Coast Retail Partners is one of the top deals on his list. He also has an assistant here, but what he's really looking for is chatter. What happened to chatter on this home page? Well, he can navigate over very easily by going to the new home of chatter, which is the feed. So here, he's back here on the feed, and he sees that post he just made with that rich text, with everything he edited across through. So let's take a quick look at the new feed in Lightning experience. So the feed now has a 2-column layout. We have the feed on the left-hand side, and we have cards on the right-hand side. He scrolls through his feed. He sees all these really great posts from his colleagues. But he decides, I see a lot of video posts. I also want to add a post for a video and perhaps attach a file at the same time. In the past, that was not possible. Now it is in Winter 16. He has this great new YouTube video that he wants to share, but he notices in the video they're using our wheels. He's able to attach a great post with the wheels from the video. And we see here this new Lightning post publisher, where you see that he can attach a file and a video in the same post and share it. So we see that inside the feed. Now Eric scrolls down a little bit more, and he's able to see a recommendations button. And here in new in Winter 16, recommendations are items that you can inject in the feed, and also in communities as well. And that's been a brand new update for our product. So the next thing Eric does is he decides that this post he just made will be very relevant to one of the people he collaborates with the most, Helen Jones. Now, all he needs to do is type in @J, and magically, Helen Jones's name pops up first, even though someone else named Jacob alphabetically traditionally would have popped first. This is a new feature for Winter 16. This is our relevant @mention. So this recommendations formula will let the people you talk to the most pop up on top. And so he @mentions Helen and posts. Another great new feature for this release is notifications. And the same notifications that you see in your Salesforce 1, we now have also in the Lightning component. And you are able to see, @mentions in groups, @mentions other people have you, and in a very easy way that in the Salesforce Classic, you may have had to go to your inbox or your notifications boxes to look at. This is a much more intuitive interface. So now, Eric wants to click into his colleague Casey's profile because he's curious on what she's been doing, what she's been working on. And now we land on the brand new Lightning profile page, where we see a brand new profile banner that will soon be customizable in future releases. We see a 2-section layout, and we see a lot of great activity from Casey, or @mentions for Casey. But the best thing as an admin I'm able to do on this new profile page is I can edit the user detail right inside with a click of a button. So let's say as an admin, I see Casey's title is incorrect. She recently got promoted to senior sales representative. I can go in and make that change. So now Eric wants to collaborate with his colleagues on closing this deal. He needs to get the materials he needs. So he's looking to go back to his group. So now the new home of groups is here. So he can navigate to click groups in the hamburger tab and navigate to the groups page. And here we see the brand new experience for groups. Very similar layout as profiles, but we have a brand new header image and color for groups. We have a different color for group types. So this is a private group, and so it's green, but other group types are different colors. We have a brand new announcements call-out feature, and so Eric can go in, make an announcement, and he can set a date that it expires on, and members of his group can quickly go there and take a look. And we also have some great group details, so he can expand that and learn and see, is this the right group for me to collaborate with? In addition, he can see this brand new membership request card where someone wants to join the group. Perhaps this is not the right group with her. She can actually add an additional message to reject this person. And so he's in this group, he sees all these posts from his colleagues, but now he decides, I really want this group to know about how I'm doing with this deal. And so he's able to go to his accounts and look at that West Coast Retail Partners deal, because he wants to make sure that the information he's collaborating with this group, the information in this group is the right one. And so he's going to go to his opportunities here. So it's under the West Coast account, and he's able to go to, I'm so sorry. I think the computer is taking a while to load. I don't know what's happened.
No worries, but if we're just going to talk through what our customers will find, at a very high level when they're following through.
So we'll just collaborate on this account then. So in this account, West Coast Retail Partners, it's a deal. He has several partners working on this with him. And so he can mention his bike group, so Bike Force R&D. And he can also attach the document that he's collaborating on with this group. And so that's the Wide Wheels for first draft. We see that it's a OneDrive document. And with, Kush will tell you more about that along. But he wants to make sure, here is the latest. He wants to share this with partners that may not be in Northern Trail, but are external. And so he's able to click all with access and share it with everybody, internal, external in this group. And members of this group, now that, if he clicks back to Bike Force R&D, they're able to see West Coast Retail Partners associated as a record. And that's major. That's a brand new feature in Lightning, and that makes collaboration around the sales use case easy and seamless. Lastly, I wanted to show you one last feature, which is our brand new reports and dashboards for Chatter. And as admins, you may all have been asking for this feature, because if you all do a lot of work in Chatter, you want to know what groups are available. And so we have these new reports that actually let you look at private, public, and listed groups. But even better is these reports are customizable, and there are actually preset dashboards, like this Chatter dashboard, which is available out of the box in Winter 16. You can see all your groups. You can see groups by type. You can see which groups are the most active. You can see who your top users are. And you can customize and segment all these different parts of the dashboard, which is amazing. So now, this is, Eric has shared the file. He's made progress on his deal. And we're going to go back, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the roadmap. Roadmap. Great. So down the line, past Winter 16, we're going to add additional features for Lightning Experience, including brand new components and making that experience even better with infinite scrolling, a feed refresh button. We have a lot more to show you, but we're also building internal custom components that you can drag in eventually in Lightning to further customization. We've also added enhancements to the feed, so you'll be able to do multi-attachment coming up. You'll be able to do rich text in the Lightning Publisher, and you'll be able to do rich text in communities. We're also working on making the feed even more relevant, and we'll continue to work on relevant @mentions and tools to inject recommendations into the feed. Finally, we're making collaboration even better with some brand new features like broadcast groups, which is a type of group where admins and managers can only post and users can only comment. We're also doing a lot of customization in the group and profile pages, and you'll be able to customize the banner images. You'll be able to choose which cards show up in what order. And those are all great things we're going to work on.
Great. Thanks, Rachel. I think you just showed a lot of new features that are going to add up to be a much deeper and much richer experience for our customers who are using Chatter. So I just have to imagine that for all of our customers who are tuned in right now, who are Chatter users, they have to be going crazy. Elna, what are you seeing?
Well, I got to tell you, mute post is a popular one, especially those with a busy Chatter feed or busy community feed. So thank you for that. And also the rich text, very exciting. And there's some questions around that as well. There is a question from Steve about more extensibility of the rich text, and that question is, in the future, will you be adding code snippets to rich text? Is that something
that's definitely
coming?
something that we have planned in the pipeline. And so you'll be able to see that soon.
And Steve really loves the ability to mute posts, and in fact, he wants to mute entire groups, and he's already posted an idea on the Ideas Exchange, so if you're watching Twitter, you can click on his idea, because that's the way to go for any new features that you'd like to see. And also, Reba is asking, will the multiple link attachment chatter post feature be available in Classic UI?
You know, we're working on that. We launched it mainly for the Lightning experience, but we're also working on making that available in Classic.
And I think in general, there might be some questions about which features are Classic only, Classic and Lightning, Lightning only. You know, and there were some asterisks on your, I think, on your slide, and one person wanted to know, do the asterisks, does it mean that everything is available in Classic except for some that are in Classic only? Is that generally what you were saying there? Or?
Oh, so some of these features that I mentioned are available only in Classic, but we're working to make it also available in Lightning. For example, one example is rich text. Right now it only works in Classic, but we're hoping to have it in the spring release for Lightning experience and also in communities as well. Right now there is a way to do that, you know, but you have to use code to do rich text, but we want to make it available through the publisher, and that will be available soon. It's a top priority for our feeds teams.
Perfect, thank you. Now Hugo is wondering, the screen that you showed in communities, is it going to look the same on a mobile device, or how does that work?
The screen that I showed in communities, or are you saying Lightning?
The screen shown in communities, so that was just towards the end of your demo, I think you were showing maybe chatter in communities. Perhaps, Hugo, you could post a little bit more detail, and we will answer your question after the broadcast.
Yeah, I perhaps can answer on the success community if I can figure out what screen you were talking about.
And Carol's asking, can the chatter group default colors be changed?
So for Winter 16, those default colors are preset, but our roadmap down the line for spring is actually making that editable, so you can change the group banner photo. And so you know the colors will be customizable in the future, but for now, for winter, they're set to the colors that we have for default, which is green for private, and then we have a gray color, and then we have a blue color. A gray for unlisted, blue for public.
Right. Yeah. And some people are saying, welcome to Chatty, thanks for joining us. You did a great job presenting today, helping with the presentation.
I know, Chatty ran my demo. I mean, he powers all of our demos.
Yeah, so I think we're ready to see what else we have to offer.
All right, thanks a lot, Elna. And just as a reminder, especially when we're talking about our product roadmap, Safe Harbor applies there. So we may be working on something now and it may be a focus, but as our Safe Harbor says, things do change. All right, thank you so much, Rachel. So we've been bringing you up to speed on why our communities are so valuable and why collaboration is at the heart of everything that we're trying to do in the community. But there is a component to both of those, that is getting the right information to the right person at the right time. It's a very valuable proposition for us. And to speak about our best tool for achieving that, I'm going to pass things over to our friend Kush.
Thanks, Mike. And wow, we've got some real exciting stuff coming down for our customers from community and chatter. So wow. So let's spend a few minutes on files. Here in the files team, one of our key priorities really is ensuring that we are surfacing the most relevant content and files in the flow of your business or your context. Whether that context is in communities, whether that context is in chatter, context is in your organizational business flows. Here on the team, we're constantly thinking about three things. One, how do we make it easy for our customers to create and collaborate on files? Two, how do our customers make it easy for them to organize it and share it? And three, how do we make it easy for our customers to discover those files? And so these 3 points follow us into the Winter 16 release. In the Winter 16 release, we've been busy on quite a few points. One of the biggest areas of our investment has been in Lightning. And as Michael showed, as Rachel showed, and as many of you have highlighted, many of you may have heard coming out of Dreamforce, Lightning is our next generation user experience. And one of our key priorities has been in establishing the files footprint within Lightning itself. Starting off with the Lightning Files Home, what we have done there is set in motion our vision to unify the destination for all things files. I know many of you have come back to us and said in Salesforce Classic we see a home for content, we see a home for libraries, we see a home for files. And so with the Lightning Files Home, we have set in motion our vision to unify all of that. With the Lightning File Picker, which Rachel had showed and which we will show in our demo as well, we've actually tried to reduce the cognitive confusion that our users experience when picking files. Do I upload from my desktop, or do I pick from the Salesforce cloud? So we've made that very seamless across the board. Similarly, with Lightning Files Card, again, back to our point around ensuring that we are surfacing the most relevant content in the flow of your business. This card surfaces those relevant files, whether you're in an opportunity, what sort of a record, whether you're in a group, profile, etc. It's just there and surfacing the relevant content for you. And then finally, I know we've heard a lot about the Lightning Files Preview Player. I think fundamentally, think about this. This is a HTML5 based preview player, no Flash. It uses scalable vector graphics, and what that means is that if you're previewing the file on a mobile device, if you're previewing the file on an Apple TV, or if you're previewing the file on a large screen monitor or a projector, it renders flawlessly. And so a lot of investment going on in Lightning Files footprint. We're not done yet. A lot more coming in the future as well. And you'll see me demo this and talk about it in our roadmap as well. Another thing that we worked on was really extend our value proposition for connecting silos of information. With Files Connect, today in Salesforce Classic, you have access to your silos of information in Microsoft, in Google, and as Michael alluded, in communities now, with Visualforce-based communities, you will have access to those as well. And so a lot of exciting stuff happening on that front. A next area of investment has been in Sync. Now, the Salesforce Sync product, we've had it around for a few releases, but for those of you, who have heard this for the first time, think of this as Dropbox, but for the enterprise. And our two areas of investment in the Sync product have been, one, in introducing a managed package that administrators can deploy in their organization in a more controlled fashion. And second, we've bumped up the maximum file size limit from 500 MB to 2 gigabytes. And so another key pain point that we've heard from our customers that we wanted to address. And finally, last but not least, we have introduced Apex triggers that would allow file authors to actually limit the sharing of files externally. Another big one that we've heard from our customers around, look, we love the fact that we can share via link, but how do we ensure that no one shares this file outside our company? And so that's another area of investment. So all in all, a lot happening in the Winter 16 release that we clearly hope that you enjoy. Let's now transition over to the demo, where what we'll do is we'll walk through a number of the features that I'd highlighted. And for our demo, we'll again use our friendly Northern Trail Outfitters organization. We'll use Eric, who's immensely hardworking. Eric is in the marketing division, and he is working with his marketing group to come up with the first call PowerPoint deck for their latest line of tires, XJ tires. The marketing team is coming up with the first call deck. They're creating the content, they're collaborating, and they're going to be publishing this to the sales team, for the sales team to use that first call deck to go and get the right opportunity and close the deals. And so if we can switch over to the demo, what you see here on my screen is the Salesforce Classic experience. We are on the marketing team group, and again, lots of healthy conversations going on. You see references to external files in Google. You see callouts for cases. You see callouts for opportunities, all of them relevant to this particular group. And similarly, you see a lot of relevant files to this particular group. Now, coming up here, moving up to the top, you see Eric, and Casey's actually put a post in to Eric saying, look, hey Eric, I'd love if you could, here's the first draft for the first call deck for that XJ tires. I'd love if you could download this, if you could work on this, finish it up, and publish this to the marketing team, to the sales team for them to consume. What Casey has also done is she's also referenced a file which is hosted externally within the Microsoft Cloud. And so what Eric will do is, Eric will say, all right, I've got to work on this deck, so let me go ahead and first sync the file down to my local drive. Now, before I click on sync, let me just kind of draw your attention to this little cloud we have over here, right? And so this sits in your tray, right? It works in the background, and it just basically kind of gives you a sense of what's going on. Now, another thing I should call out, when you install the Salesforce File Sync client, you will also have a drive surface within your File Explorer called Salesforce Files. And so as you can see here, this is Eric. He's got a lot of folders. And so let's go ahead and sync that file down. So Eric goes and clicks on sync. That brings up a representation of the files that he has on his machine. And let's go ahead and click on marketing, and sync this down. And so what you'll notice here is this little cloud gets really busy and starts syncing this file down. Now, while that's happening, what Eric will do is Eric will also want to find out about the pricing information. So he needs the pricing information to complete the first call deck. And so he clicks into this link over here, which automatically takes Eric into Office 365. So right from the convenience of Salesforce. And so Eric clicks into this to understand all of the pricing information. And once he's got all of the pricing information, let's kind of go back. He's got all of the information he needs to actually begin editing the deck. And so let's kind of go back into Eric's File Explorer. And you see the XJ Tires first call deck right there. And so he goes in. This fires up our friendly PowerPoint. So he goes in, makes a few changes. Right, add some color, goes in, add some pricing information, and we're done. So he saves this. And again, what this does is that it kind of tells the Salesforce Files Sync client to get busy. And so you can see the cloud start syncing those changes back up to the cloud. So we'll close this, and let's go back to the Explorer. From the File Explorer itself, what Eric can do now is he can right-click this right from the convenience of the File Explorer. He can go ahead and now share the completed first call deck for XJ Tires to the sales team. And so what that does is that it brings up, again, Salesforce Classic. Again, from the convenience of your Explorer, takes you right back into Salesforce. And here, what he will do is he's going to just share this with the sales team. And just going to put a post here. Here is the first call deck. Let's go get him. All right, so he goes ahead and shares this. And what we have just gone through is an immensely compressed, but a very typical process that our customers go through around creating and collaborating on that content. Now, for our next portion of our demo, let's switch over to the sales side of things, and let's see how Vanessa, our salesperson, actually discovers this piece of content. So let's do this. Let's switch over to Vanessa. And so Vanessa's here on the sales group, and she's in Salesforce Classic. And let's just kind of refresh that one more time. And immediately she sees that there is a post here by Eric with the first call deck. And so what she can do is she can go ahead and start cracking on this. But before we do that, let's just take a moment and switch over to Lightning. And again, I do want to underscore that the switching over to Lightning is just one click away. And when you do that, we do want to underscore that all of your data just comes along with it, right? And so there's no migration, there's no data loss. It's right there seamlessly on one click. And so what you can see here is Vanessa lands on the new Lightning experience. And so here we have on stage left, we have all of the apps or the call to actions that many of you might be familiar with. Now, one of them, again, is Files. And notice that if you click into Files, you'll see what we have done here is set in motion us getting on path for a unified files home. So when we move down, as we go release to release, this is the place where you will find all of your files. And so again, trying to get rid of the cognitive confusion around, do I click on content, do I click on libraries? We're not there yet in Winter 16, but again, this is setting the stage up for getting us there. Now, so let's go back, and so let's go back to the groups, and so let's go back to the sales group. And so here again, Vanessa, as Rachel called out, you know, there's a lovely announcement out there. And what Rachel does is, what Vanessa sees is she sees the post by Eric. As you go further down, she also sees a lot of related files. And so this again is the files card coming in seamlessly over there. Just to call out again, she can go ahead and put a post, and when you click on attach file, what this brings up is our lightning files picker, which again, instead of giving you a choice or two choice which says upload a file or select a file from Salesforce, we're just going to streamline this into a single user interface to remove that cognitive load. Now again, Vanessa's here, she decides to click on this. And what this does is that it brings up the Lightning Preview Player. And again, to stress this is a HTML5 based preview player. It uses scalable vector graphics and so renders flawlessly. Within the preview player, we've got actions. We've got download, upload, file details. You also have the ability to go into full screen mode. And as Michael highlighted, we've done this entire presentation of the preview player. And so really we're truly dogfooding our own product. We truly believe that our sales customers who are going to be on the road will actually feel pretty comfortable demoing their sales presentations or whatever presentation of the new Lightning File Previewer. So in a nutshell, we've really spent a lot of time listening to some of our pain points our customers are facing. We're setting the stage within Lightning to unify and introduce a unified files home. And we're really looking at simplifying the user experience across the board. And so again, net, it's been a wonderful Winter 16 release for us. We've learned a lot, we've heard a lot from all of you, and we'd love to now transition into what you can expect to see in our upcoming releases.
Yeah, let's check out the roadmaps.
Yeah. So beyond Winter 16, as I mentioned, we are heads down on unifying our files home. And so as we think about libraries, as you think about our sync folders, think about our synced files, this is something that we are moving into the unified files home that we just highlighted in the demo. Another thing to call out is we've often got a question around libraries. Is that the right way to think about it? This is really official kind of content that we want to publish. And so we are actively thinking about rebranding libraries into company folders. We're also actively thinking about giving users the ability to just specify whether this file is ready to go. And so even without putting it into a company folder or a library for that matter. And then we're also, in an effort to expand our integration of the various silos of information, we will be introducing Box very shortly, Box integration into shortly. I know we've heard a lot about that as well. Now, Rachel talked about the multi-file attachment feed posts. Again, this is one of our top asks that we have got, and so really excited to have that coming down very shortly as well. And then finally, among others, we're simplifying how sharing is being done. Now we've got a lot of platform capabilities that we don't expose today, or that we expose today in Salesforce Classic, where we could improve. Things along the lines of putting shares behind a password, setting expiration dates for files that you share. These are all things that are available in the platform. These are all things that our customers have found ways to use. And what we've tried to do is now, what we're going to be doing at least, is introduce that within the Lightning experience in a very simplified, graceful way that people actually find very easy to use. And so again, a lot happening. And again, a lot of this could not happen without the feedback that we're getting from our success communities, from our customers. So please keep that coming. We want to keep improving, and we're really excited for what's to come.
Great. And I just want to reinforce something you said. This is something that we use internally already. And
definitely, yeah.
We love files here at Salesforce. So I imagine that for any of our customers who are using files or entertaining the thought, you just gave them a lot to be excited about. But Elna, I'm sure you've got tons of questions bottled up over there. Let's open the floodgates.
I've got a few, and actually I just have to say I am a very, very heavy user and big fan of file sync. I totally cannot live without it, so I am always very excited to hear about enhancements, and the increase to 2 gigabytes is
Awesome,
really
yeah.
great. So
The team's done a great job there.
And the folder, being able to sync to a folder, I know that came out in the last round, and that's been fantastic. So keep those enhancements coming. Now, speaking of folders, Reba is asking if there are any plans to have folders incorporated in the native files area in Salesforce.
Sure. We get that question a lot, and we're actively thinking about it. Right now, what we're trying to nail is the company folders concept, aka libraries. And again, this is something that we are thinking about. After we have nailed the company folders concept, how do we introduce folders beyond that?
Right. Now, some people don't use Chatter. Some people turn off Chatter,
Yes.
but files, I've always told customers that files is actually one great reason to turn on Chatter. But what if you wanted to use files and not Chatter? Is that going to be possible?
Sure. We get that a lot, and it's especially in regulated industries where, excuse me, as much as they would love to use Chatter, it's the nature of the industry. And so this is one of our top things that we're working on that you can expect to see very shortly in the next few months.
Great. What about Dropbox? You mentioned Box. Dropbox support also coming?
That's once we're done with Box, that's the next one we have in mind.
Next on the list.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So what if you have a customer, they've invested a lot of time putting together their libraries in
Right.
Salesforce Classic, and they're thinking about, well, what's going to happen in the future with folder structures?
Right.
How is that structure going to work in the new environment? Will it carry over? Do they
Sure.
have to reconfigure it?
Sure. Fundamentally here at Salesforce, one of our fundamental principles that we keep very close to our heart is trust. We realize that our customers are making lots of investments and customizations to their products, and libraries is no different as well. And so as we move to the concept of company folders, everything will carry over. All of your customizations will carry over. All of your content will carry over. We also know of customers who are not using the term libraries. They've got, they may call it something else as references, etc. Namings, all of that will carry forward so that all of the customizations that you have invested in heavily, we carry forward and we stay true to our policy of trust.
Great, thank you. Now, if you're interested in the managed version of file sync, how would you go about getting that access to that?
Sure. I'd say the best way is to ping me on Success Community, and we'll go from there. Fundamentally, with the managed package, it's best that we take some time to understand the level of deployment, and so that we can assist any sort of large-scale deployment from there. And hence, ping me, feel free to ping me, my team, on the Success Community.
All right. Great. I have one more question that's, I think it may be more related to current functionality.
Sure.
But without file sync, can multiple users collaborate on a single file if you're not using file sync?
Well, if you're not using file sync, at this point of time, I think Chatter offers a great way to collaborate on files itself. But I do see the point around being able to edit in line itself. And so we've seen a lot of customers actually work with reference files. So files maybe that are hosted within Google, within Microsoft, and editing it within that particular environment, and then collaborating through Chatter itself. But again, I think this is something that's top of mind for us to support editing directly within Salesforce, whether that's a native file or whether that's a file that is within one of the silos of Microsoft or Google. But this again is stuff that we are actively thinking as part of our roadmap for this year.
Oh, we got more files love coming in now as we speak here. I'm just keeping up with it here. Graciano says loves files, using Google Drive a lot, and he can see how easy files is to use. But how does it handle and avoid file duplication? Are there any specific features to help you avoid that?
Yes, we get that quite a bit, and again, I think this would require a fair amount of background before we get to the crux of the conversation. And so I'd say let's take this up. Please do post this question on Success Community, because I know a lot of people can benefit from it, and we'll be happy to take it there.
You'll also have the opportunity to answer the tweets after
Definitely.
today. And
Definitely.
We'll give you all those, so don't worry about that.
All right.
So are we ready to wrap up? Or
I think we are, Elna.
Okay.
And thank you so much for your work with the questions and answers today. And Michael, Rachel, and Kush, thank you all so much for the good job you've done presenting and sharing with our customers. And thank you at home for watching. That's about all we had for today's discussion on the Community Cloud. And as a reminder, you can catch recordings in long and short form on www.salesforce.com/release readiness. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And as always, if you have any feedback for how we can improve the experience for you or viewers, feel free to share. There should be a short survey that's going to be popping up under the screen you're using to watch this webcast right now. And as a favor, for everybody who finishes one of those surveys for us, we will enter your name into a drawing from which we will draw 25 Salesforce hoodie winners. So look out for that. We look forward to seeing you back here at 11:45 for our final live session on the Service Cloud. Until then, this has been Mike Torres from Salesforce, wishing you the best in success.